The Sharks are on the second set of back-to-backs. Didn't look good early on, but they made it interesting down the road. We'll break it down on this night. We might get a CUDA update, and we'll introduce you to someone helping me out tonight. Let's do this right now. This is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Friday night, March 18th, 2022. The Sharks lose 4-3 to the Colorado Avalanche, making it interesting down the road. We welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. If you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans and hockey fans all around the world on the page or the app. And, of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Reddit, Discord, you name it, and find everything at tealtownusa.com. And with that, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Ryan Needle, joining us for the first time. How are you, good sir?
Could be better after that showing, but overall pretty good. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you, Ryan. If you've been to the Shark Tank for years, used to be at the Shark store, but more than that, tell us where about you and where you're at right now, and anything else you want to let the YouTube universe know about you.
Yeah, for sure. Grew up in San Jose, Napa area, so familiar with Sharks hockey growing up. Went to the tank a lot, as much as we could between sports, and then moved out to Hawaii, here currently, so catch a game as much as I can. So, but I mean, still catch them, pretty much all of them, so time difference doesn't help, especially now, but we make do.
See, that's what I was going to ask you, though, is that every game is like a 4:30 game on the West Coast out here. But I'm sure those early East Coast games, like those 10 a.m. starts in, like they had against Boston and such, aren't preferred.
Oh yeah, it wasn't fun. That's one where you just look at the schedule and it's like, do I want to wake up? Is it worth it? How this team is playing? Like, you sort of look back at the last couple games and it's like, maybe. I mean, they're on a win streak. All right, fine. Losing streak, I'll just catch the highlight.
It's tough, but and considering this season it's been up and down, it's just rough to go through and get through a season, especially in these dog days. But we're at the 3/4 pole. So, but Ryan, great to have you here. Thanks for joining me. Let's get at this one. The Sharks are in the second set of back-to-backs. Playing last night, they lost to LA 3-0. Had given up 5 straight goals. Harkening back to the Florida game. 2-3-1 in the first game of the back-to-backs, and they end up being 2-3-1 in the second set. So they're no major advantage there. But early on, I don't know. I thought Colorado definitely came with the same strength LA did, and the Sharks just didn't have their legs or were ready to go getting going.
I mean, you could definitely see the difference in levels here, especially early on. Sharks coming off a rough one, Colorado nice and rested, and you could sort of tell in the beginning. Like you said, they looked the same team as last night, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not the best, and it didn't bode well early on. The Sharks would take a penalty early, and Colorado would take advantage of it. Basically, their only power play opportunity in the night, and they cashed it in. Nazem Kadri, who I think has turned into a goal-scoring beast since he was traded from Toronto. He gets his 23rd from Rantanen and Makar to make it 1-0 there. What did you think early on of that one?
I mean, Kadri's hot. Looking at dollar signs in the off season, but again, the power play penalty kill. As much as it has looked good, I mean, on that one, they really spread him out pretty far. Didn't seem very organized, so it was a odd PK for them on that one.
Yeah, and I believe it's just the third power play goal the Sharks have given up since the All-Star break. So, overall good, but yeah, you're right. I noticed that stretching of it, and that's where those passers like Makar. I mean, we're going to probably be gushing about Makar throughout this broadcast, but he helped set up the Kadri goal to make it 1-0, and then about 4 minutes later, Darren Helm gets off the schneid for his 5th of the season from Burakovsky. I don't know about that one. that one was like, oh boy, here. That was the one I think where it was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, definitely one they want back. But I mean, hell of a move that Helm pulled off. So not a player you expect to pull off that sort of move, but yeah, not definitely a goal the Sharks would want back.
Yeah, and definitely weird to see him in a Colorado jersey after so many years in Detroit. It's just, and of Colorado too, for that matter.
I mean, even I'm gonna butcher this, and Kevin's gonna get mad at me, but it's okay. I'm gonna pronounce it how I know it. Nicholas Abe Kubel, even seeing him in a Colorado jersey is weird to me. Watching tonight's game, picked up off waivers from Philly.
I'm going to say yes. We'll find out in a sec, like Kevin, if you got that right or not. But Sharks down 2-0 after one period, and it got worse before it got remotely better. Teams would be skating 4-on-4, and Cale Makar with his 22nd in the year. I'm so glad he's on my fantasy hockey team. But as for the Sharks standpoint, not fun. Little bit of a little interference before the play on Couture. I thought that should have been a penalty. Getting manhandled like that.
That was a weird one, but I mean, I feel like in this game there's some calls that probably could have been called, didn't get called. So I guess it was just one of those nights. But I mean, not something you could challenge, unfortunately. But hell of a goal, though.
Yeah, nice play there to make it 3-0. And thank you for saying challenge, because I totally forgot. The Sharks had a 1-0 lead. Couture looked like he had scored it to make it 1-0. Just because we just got all distracted by the frustration of the whole thing. That was so close to being onside.
I probably as close as you can get there. I mean, like you said, I totally forgot that happened. I guess we just can't have nice things here, but it's okay.
Any closer?
Sorry.
No, you're good. Any closer, Landeskog would have complained about it. I don't know.
I mean, I was on my way home and I saw it and I was like, perfect. I was like starting this game off after the last game. I was like, maybe it'll be different. I get home out of traffic and I turn the game on. I was like, 2-0. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, no, that was not the fun one. And so that was 1-0 that took away. But then, as we said, Makar makes it 3-0 just a little over half a minute into the second period. But then, later in the period, I thought, both teams kind of were evenly playing. I mean, Colorado had the parade to the penalty box tonight, as opposed to the Sharks last night. And the Sharks couldn't get anything going. 0-for-5. Nikushkin makes it 4-0, and you're just like, oh, let's not have it turn into a Nashville game all over again.
Yeah, I thought the way it was going, the way the Sharks were playing, it just seemed, like you said, it just seemed like it was gonna get worse. I mean, luckily it didn't, but it just had that feeling.
Yeah, but then the tide turned a little bit late in the late in the second, Vlasic with that hesitation, he grips it and rips it, and Viel gets a little bit of a tip in and scores his third of the season, make it 4-1. You're like, maybe.
It was a give us hope. I was like, me, like you said, maybe we got this, but I was like, I don't know. This team is still getting dominated. Like, is this just one of those, not freak goals, but just one of those lucky goals that goes in, especially one from your fourth line?
Yeah, and that's while it's great to have that secondary scoring, as everybody would say, but it's like, really, Viel's going to be the guy that gets this.
Exactly.
And I would have to ask Darren Stevens whether or not this is possible, but to have two guys that with the last name starting with the letter V be on the sheet for the Sharks, that's got to be a first. All right, it's got to be something.
They are definitely. Just thinking back at who's been on the team, I think it has to be
right. Yeah. Hey, so history tonight at the Take. I don't know. We're reaching for some stuff. All right.
Anything positive here?
Oh man, right. The third period comes on, and Balcers, Rudolph's Balcers, gets off the schneid, his his first goal in 9 games. Barbie and Hurdle with the assist there, and you're like, okay, now you're telling me there's a chance.
I mean, great goal. I watched it, and then I had to rewind and watch it back. I was like, no way, this guy just did a no look. I was like, he just looked off. I was like, pass, and then all of a sudden he shoots, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. But good to see Rudy back. Been a while, quiet for him, up and down, but then it started getting pretty positive from there.
Yeah, and Satan in the chat, and I don't know why this keeps happening again. So apologies on the text not coming through, but Satan saying, Viel has the same amount of goals as Gregor in like half the games. Viel is elite.
Oh, that one hurts.
I'm not gonna say he's elite, but you might be right. I still get a kick out of that St. Patrick's Day video where Couture just literally says, yeah, unlucky, Noah Gregor.
I mean, obviously, if Couture is commenting on that most unluckiest, I mean, the room's got to be talking about it.
Oh, they're chirping him hard.
Yeah.
You feel for Noah Gregor, who was scratched tonight along with John Leonard for this one, as Gadjevich and Viel draw in this matchup. But late in the game, this has become a trend lately for Bob Boughner. What do you think of this? Pulling the goalie with like 3.5 minutes to go here.
Yeah, it's ballsy, but I mean, it started to pay off tonight. I mean, that third goal goes in, and you're like, maybe this is gonna work out tonight. But it shows how not desperate he is, but that they really need something to get him going. But I mean, to each their own, and risk rewards there, but 3 minutes is kind of a far way out.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're going for, and maybe part of the thing is that you're 10 points out of a playoff spot. If you're going to try and fight for trying to get in and compete for it, you got to do whatever you can, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Sharks do get an extra attacker goal. Erik Karlsson, his 9th of the season from Couture, with about 1.5 minutes left. A sweet shot by EK.
Oh yeah. One you like to see, him and Burns, both beautiful shots, great screens in front. I mean, once that one went in, I was like, so do we got a chance?
Yes, it's like, okay, the 4-2 goal is like, okay, maybe we get one more. All right, really get into it. And then Karlsson scored, and like you said, that was a nice shot. And then you're like, all right, let's go. You got me on the edge of the seat. Come on, let's
Yep.
make this happen. And no, that ends up being a teaser goal.
And then, yeah.
Unfortunately, Nikushkin would get the empty netter to seal it with about 15 seconds left. That's pretty much it on that night.
Yeah.
Overall, what did you think? What did you think of Sachenko on this night? Who I don't know. I think he got hung out to dry. But what do you think?
I agree. I mean, most of the goals you can't. The first one, Kadri's one, deflection, Helm's goal. He got defenseman stripped and then just left 1-on-1. Makar. And then that fourth one, trying to remember, what was that fourth one?
The fourth goal from Nikushkin. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I think Nikushkin was open on the rebound, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, goals you would like to have back, but overall played well. I mean, you would hope he'd go Sunday, but probably not going to happen.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you had Reimer start yesterday, Thursday night. Bugner's already kind of mentioned that he's going to have Sachenko start this game and then go back to Reimer on Sunday. He's acknowledged that Reimer is still playing a little hurt. Hill is out again. He came back for one game and is hurt. So something's definitely going on with the goaltenders here. But to me, I almost thought, why didn't you start Sachenko last night against the Kings, since he got his first victory against them, played well? Have Reimer play more of a tougher opponent in Colorado, and then you can go back-to-back with him Sunday. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the logic's there. I mean, you got to think Bob's sort of looking in the past. Reimer, hot goalie, hoping he still has it, even if he is a little bit hurt. But I mean, Sachenko did play well against LA, got his first win. So it's like maybe he's got it again. And then if you really do have that faith in Reimer, play him against a better team in Colorado. But yeah, at this point, it's whatever goalie is coming out there. It's sort of flip a coin with injuries and just the amount of rotation that's going on this year.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, you started this guy 13 in a row, then he gets hurt, then you're forced into playing, not even playing Sachenko yet. You trade for Alex Stalock, because you aren't confident in your net minding or in this kid, and it kind of goes to show with everybody overall. But to me, I mean, I was having a chat with our friend Kevin, and it's like, do you think Bob Bugner willingly fed Sachenko to the Avalanche tonight to get people to stop asking, why does he get more starts? Just be like, see, he doesn't do well, so why even?
Yeah, why play him? Yeah, you could see the logic there, but I mean, like you said earlier, a lot of those goals, I mean, those last four, the four tonight, I mean, not really his fault. He did play well, so.
Yeah. And Kevin's saying at least it isn't Melnichuk. Would it be worse if it's Melnichuk or Melnichuk or Zachary Yimond? Yeah.
Yeah. I think we know the answer there.
So a tough one there. The Sharks lose their third straight 5-3, excuse me, with the empty netter there. Time on ice, Burnsy practically played half the game.
I think that's a nightly occurrence, so not really shocking there.
Yeah. 29-12 on there. Eric Karlsson 26-09. Ironically enough, both of them were -2. Excuse me. Which essentially says Karlsson was on for 3 of the Avalanche goals, and then he was on there for his own goal. at the end of the game on that one. Marc-Edouard Vlasic gets that one helper along with Nicholas Milosh. That pairing were the positive pairing on the evening for the team. So I don't know, 13:46 for Vlasic, a little over 15 minutes for Milosh there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe things will balance out Sunday night, for the Sharks and the Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I don't have that beer on hand. I got to work in the morning. But anybody that stood out for you for the Sharks on this night? I mean, we can gush on Cale and Makar a little bit more, but
I mean, I think compared to last night, Timo did have a better game. Got the penalty, the hooking penalty in that second period. Did look flash, but I mean, tonight, if I had to think back, not really anyone like stood out to me in the game. I know a couple times in the second period, who was it? Burns had a breakout pass. Gadjevich couldn't hold on to it, and then earlier Karlsson had a breakout pass, and as soon both those passes fly, you're like, oh, like they're looking at someone down there, and then camera pans a little bit over, and boom, deflection, and then all of a sudden the puck is behind Francois. So it's like those are kind of the moments that stood out, but fortunately, I mean, to me, not really anyone tonight.
Yeah. Let's get to some of the comments from the locker room here. We'll start off with Bob Bugner. I thought it was a hard-fought game. We didn't give up much during the first two periods. You gave up 4 goals. That's a little bit of much there, Bob. But we didn't bury our power play opportunities.
I mean, the second half of that quote is true.
Right.
I'm trying to look on the bright side in the first half, but yeah, I'd have to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, you gave up 4 goals in the first 35 minutes of the game. That's a little tough out there. And
yeah,
I think we're on the same page in that. We have to win by being good defensively and being structured. I thought we played a structured game tonight.
Yes and no. I mean, what do you think?
It's like, okay, I get that you want to be defensively in being structured. I get that. That's fine. But you've been dealing with defensive issues all season long.
Yeah.
And granted, you've dealt with injuries, you dealt with COVID, but something's got to give. You're 61 games into the season, and you're still trying to learn to be good defensively. Something's not clicking.
Well, also, it's hard to be a defensively, he's not saying defensive focus, but win by being good defensively when you have both Burns and Karlsson in your D pairs. So not already there. It's, your defense isn't going to be the best defensively. So it's weird that he's saying that they have to win by being defensively, unless he's talking about the forwards.
Yeah, and maybe talking about getting some more scoring here. Oh, look, how ironic. I come up with this comment from Bugner. We need more depth scoring, more from different parts of the lineup. The power play has been good despite drying up the last couple of games.
I mean, maybe if our third line was in a defensive line, that might help with things, but...
Yeah, that third line should be a fourth. That fourth line should be in the
AHL.
Yeah. Sans Cogliano, of course.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. But Bugner continue on saying, I knew there would be some fatigue after playing last night, but I thought we were physical tonight and moved the puck well. I'll give some stick taps to Nicholas Milosh, throwing the body around a little bit in this one, for sure.
I was going to say, I did know Gadjevich tonight a little bit more than I noticed Leonard last game. But I mean, different types of games, Gadjevich you're going to see out there throwing the body around. So, but I can agree with that one.
Yeah. And of course, the fight earlier on, as McDermott was throwing bodies around, Nieto didn't play a whole lot in the first period, shaking the cobwebs off of that. Of course, Benino also took a high hit, questionably to the head. We'll see. It might be short guy, tall guy getting away with it, but I know Middleton had dropped the gloves on that one. So yeah, they played physical. I'll agree
Yeah.
with that one for sure. Let's see. Balcers here. We battled today. Had a good third period. Generated a lot of good scoring chances. Would have been nice to get a point out of it.
Yes, but I mean, did they deserve a point? Not really. I think if the second period was a little bit more convincing, I'd say so. But with them only really showing up in the third, I mean, they had chances early on, but
Yeah. And then same thing as last night. We didn't have any goal support. All in all, the guys battled hard on back-to-back against the best team in the league. Yeah.
I mean, Couture's got challenged. I mean, Balcers could have scored on that one, just couldn't keep his stick on the ice on that pass from Karlsson. I thought that was definitely going in.
Yeah.
Early on, that one I was like, all right. I was like, we're getting back into it, but didn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
Barabanov's breakaway.
Yeah.
You thought he'd put that one in the back of the net. That one was a little bit disappointing there.
That was a bummer. That was a great pass from Karlsson there. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Looking forward for that, but yeah, I just couldn't bury that one in. They had some chances there, but just off a bit. And even at the end of there, where Burns tried to set up Meyer on the left side, like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you're watching that end, and you're just like, okay, there he is, and then Burns and Meyer just totally just make that last like 30 seconds just not worth it.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I mean, it's like, just throw it at the net.
Yeah.
It didn't work the first time.
Like the pass is right there. Like Meyer, come on. But I did notice tonight Meyer was on a couple power plays. Meyer was there on both units for a little bit. I mean, right before the Barabanov chance, he was there on the first unit, and then once that second unit came out with, who is it? I know Reedy was on there, someone else as well, but Meyer was out for a solid minute and a half, and then finally went off, and then Barabanov came on. But I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and AJ, you're bringing a good point too. It's like they scored one goal over 5 periods, but do talk more about your defense. Yeah, they gave up 9 straight goals, going from the last 2 in the Florida game where Vetrano, had his farewell to Florida, and then he gets traded to the Rangers like 12 hours later. Then you get shut out 3-0 to LA, and then the first 4 against Colorado. But yeah,
not a good stretch.
No, not good. And that's the other thing too. It's like the Sharks had to go back down to we're up in San Jose, then go bound to LA, then come back up. Meanwhile, the Avs have been sitting in San Jose since Tuesday night.
Yeah, like the broadcast that they're just there watching the game on TV, just waiting for him to come back, and hard to play against one of the top 4 teams in the league when you're coming off a back-to-back with them having so much rest.
Yeah, almost prepared and ready to roll for it, and hats off to Colorado. They're good. They're going to be dangerous. I don't know if they have any other moves going for them at the trade deadline.
I mean, I know they're in for Giroux. They're in the mix with Florida, and I've read their offers a little bit better. You just have to think about who's involved in that sort of thing. But I feel like there's one left in them. It's just how big of a move they want to make.
Yeah, how much of a splash? I mean, you got Josh Manson from Anaheim, you got Nico Sturm from Minnesota. I think that adds some toughness to their lineup. That let's be honest, the playoffs they get a little more physical, so
Yeah.
you're gonna have that going for you. But yeah, this team looks really good, and Cale Makar. Oh my god, I know shouldn't be getting
Just
all gushing about Makar, but
different gravy.
oh my goodness, 69 points on the campaign. Nice.
I mean, what did you mean? 22nd goal of the year, and he is a defenseman. Like definitely Norris contender.
Oh man, and that's gonna be a tough one. Tough one to deal with in the Western Conference for a while. So the Sharks lose this one 5-3. I keep not counting the empty netter. Forgive me there. Oh gosh. So they currently sit 10 points out of a playoff spot. As we go into trade deadline weekend, trade deadline Monday at noon. There's some rumblings that maybe DeBrincat might be on the move from Chicago.
Hey, I'm all for it if the Sharks want to make a move. I mean, I don't care who it takes, but I know they won't be in it. But I'm surprised of all names. I mean, DeBrincat's name's being thrown out there. Kane's name is being thrown out there. I mean, when I read Strome, I wasn't so surprised by that.
Right.
But those two big names, you got to wonder. Because you kind of thought that Chicago was coming out of the rebuild, but I guess not.
No, their new GM says, nope, we're rebuilding right now. And, I saw a clip on Twitter earlier about how DeBrincat and Kane were getting on each other, and DeBrincat was telling him the STFU.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting in Chicago.
Yeah, especially because I think most people thought they were finally turning that corner, and then, like you mentioned, the GM came out today. No, we're rebuilding, and then you look back, signed Marc-Andre Fleury, and then made a couple other moves, and then now you kind of look at it as are they gonna trade him then? If they're in full rebuild mode, I don't see why you're gonna keep Marc-Andre Fleury.
Well, I'm just going to throw out the tinfoil hat now. With Eichel now hurt in Vegas.
Oh, jeez.
Now there's room. Now there's room for Fleury to come in and be the savior again.
I mean, with the amount of guys, I mean, it's unfortunate the amount of guys you looked on their IR list, probably most of their top 4, most of their top 6, but if they want to stay in it, they'll definitely be someone who's pretty active at the deadline.
Yeah. Now, as for the Sharks, not a whole lot. Now that Hurdle's signed, we can all get that out of their way here. But the question now remains, who could go? I mean, Cogliano can get some interest. Of course, we all know Hockey Jerk is like dying for them to announce the Barabanov re-signing. And then of course Pierre LeBrun would mention Jake Middleton again, but coming at a steep price.
I mean, for what Brandon Hagel went for today, I don't know what's a steep price anymore. You kind of got to wonder what Barabanov might bring, especially if we haven't heard anything about an extension, but I wouldn't be surprised if their sole focus was Hurdle for the time being, and then they told Barabanov, like, yeah, we'll get to you.
Don't worry. But wait, what do you mean you're asking $4 million? What?
Give it to him.
No.
Give it to him.
No. Not 4. 4 is a stretch in my mind.
I think that's top dollar. I mean, if you got to think with him being a UFA, if they can't get at least something agreed on, especially you think dollar over term, in the sense that he'll be moved again like last year on trade deadline day. Middleton, I mean, if someone's going to pay the price, I mean, why not? And then, I mean, same thing with, if I were the Sharks, I wouldn't want to have a UFA going into going or ending the trade deadline, especially with where the Sharks are at. I mean, the more picks, the better.
Yeah, and you just shop around, see what you can get. I mean, you don't have to pull the trigger, but if you can get something, uh, that can help you down the road, and as you gather picks for the upcoming drafts, I mean, you can take that shot.
Yeah, I mean, unless they really think they can make the playoffs, which they might come out tomorrow and say, but yeah, I think you got to embrace it at this point. I mean, everyone's asking for. We finally got Leonard called up, but you still have the likes of Blickfeld, Shamlevsky, Habelawaks, some other faces down there that people wouldn't be too pressed with seeing. So I think you could afford with moving on from your Nietos, your Coglianos, especially if someone will ring you and pay the price.
Yeah, and do what you can do. I mean, if there are teams that are wanting some players that you're probably thinking, we could use some depth. Why not? You mentioned Barracuda, and speaking of the Barracuda,
Ooh, Barracuda.
The Barracuda lost in a shootout 4-3. Blickfeld got the opening goal like about a half minute in, but then a nice comeback with all of a sudden Lane Peterson's figured out how to score again. Sure,
Hey,
now you find a way to score.
That's where he belongs. He's just showing everyone this is where I belong. The Sharks are dumb for trading a fourth for me, but this is where I belong.
Oh yeah. So cut that to 3-2. Then the tying goal made it 3-3 from I believe it was Blickfeld again, but lost it in the shootout. Yeah, PJ saying Blickfeld got his 20th. Unfortunately, no luck in that one for that one. So the Sharks are top development affiliate lose that one. They're playing a 3-game series in Tucson. So if you're in Arizona, the time is nigh for you to go see the Barracuda if you want to at the Tucson Arena. So that's that for that one. 4-3 loss for the Barracuda over the Tucson Roadrunners on this one. Haven't heard any word on Merkley. There was a like an upper body injury that we're hearing, so we'll see. Kevin Lacey's like, I'm not sure what you said, but it was Scrabble. Yeah, we call him Scrabble around here. It's just, guaranteed triple word score if you were to throw his name in. So,
I mean, Blickfeld getting his 20th. I mean, you would same thing like Leonard being on so hot. You'd like to see him up there, but you gotta wonder what's the play with Blickfeld. I mean, at this point, ever since that one hit on who is it, McKinnon or Landeskog?
McKinnon last year.
He's just been on the naughty list or something because there's been no mention of him, which is pretty unfortunate with how well he did coming out of juniors his last year. So you'd like to see some fresh faces up there, and then this whole season sort of a down year for the Barracuda. You got to hope next year, new names, new faces, things will be better how they used to be a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was you have, like you said, you got the likes of potentially Bordelot, Coe, Gushchin, Tristan Robbins had a hat trick for the Saskatoon Blades the other night. It's going to be interesting to see how this team works out in brand new arena, brand new uniforms coming next season. So kind of a nice little refresh for the CUDA next year. But as for now, Sharks lost, Barracuda lost, but a win-win for Ryan, your first go around on After Dark. Let's do a post game presser for you. How'd you feel out there tonight? Didn't leave you hanging on anything?
No, I felt great. Got over the nerves pretty well. Had a great wingman. Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it. Looking to be back, but enjoyed my time. Was hoping for a better result, but I mean, nothing we could do about that, unfortunately.
And the best part, what part of Hawaii are you in?
Oahu, currently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Haven't been to there yet, so I've only been to Maui, and that was a nightmare story. I'll have to tell you that sometime.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, great time, but then you saw, let's say, spoiler alert, 2 airlines went out of business trying to fix it. Yeah. So, but Ryan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back up very soon. In case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. So with that, Sharks play on Sunday, and that's a special 4 p.m. start. So you'll get the Pucknologist takeover with AJ and Jerk on, and get just a skosh early, unless the game goes into a 15-round shootout, like the last time I think the Desert Dogs were in San Jose for that 8-7 game.
That was a wild one.
Yeah, that was quite interesting for sure. But I can't see that happening. But with it being a Sunday game, yeah, AJ and Jerk will be doing double duty with the After Dark takeover of the Pucknologists. And I get to go to games, so I get to enjoy a nice night of professional men's ice hockey.
Can never complain about that one.
No. But I hope you had fun doing this. Look forward to it
definitely.
Again. Your final thoughts and where the people can find you.
My final thoughts. I mean, I hope Sunday's better result. I mean, Arizona's buzzing right now, but I mean, you gotta hope the Sharks will turn it around. But you can find me newly made Twitter, Hockey from 808. I mean, you can slide in. Let me know if didn't like my performance here. You can also let me know about that. But anywhere, just on Twitter.
And if you aren't watching this live, of course, leave a comment down below on what you thought the Sharks did tonight, what they should do at the deadline. Keep it tame. We're not going to be training Couture. We aren't going to buy out Erik Karlsson.
Wait, we're not?
Nobody told you that? Oh. Whoops. But we appreciate each and every one of you joining us. The conversation continues on the Discord channel right now, so head on over there. But until Sunday night, with AJ and Jerk doing the Pucknologists, I will see you at the tank. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you Sunday night for a Pucknologist takeover of After Dark.